Welcome. I'm connecting our Instagram live. I was over on our, I do not think, oh my goodness, hold on. I, there we go. I was over on Facebook and I love reading the comments. I ask a few question every morning. I don't know, just get your brain thinking. And is what happened was I asked about self-care, and I thought it was so interesting. Maria talked about the power nap. That is one of her self-care tools. I have on my Google Keep a list of self-care tools, some that take a minute, some that take 5 minutes. Power nap is usually 15 to 20 minutes. You've got to make it work for your circadian rhythm. Shelley talked about massages. I shared with Shelley, I did a subscription massage, and so I've got it set up every month and I'm utilizing it more often. And there was also several comments about soaking in magnesium, that's their self-care time. And I love those. Welcome, where we are talking about shockwave proteins, lymph, sauna, magnesium. And my goal is by the end, all of those will be woven together and make sense to you. The first thing that I just needs to be understood is shockwave proteins protect your brain. They were discovered in 1962. They weren't named shockwave proteins until 1974. And now it's not only a shockwave protein, but each shockwave protein is being studied as to what the benefit is on your body. The beautiful thing of shockwave proteins is that you don't need to know that HSP60 focuses on your brain and HSP 110 focuses on autoimmune. The only thing we need to focus on is increasing shockwave proteins. And how do we do that? Guess what? Magnesium helps move shockwave proteins. It maximizes your shockwave proteins. So we've talked about soaking in magnesium. Keep that in your mind as the magnesium boosts, supports, lifts everything. Do you have one of those people in your life that boosts, supports, and lifts everything? Shelley is that to me. This morning, there's like all the things to do, and just her presence. She's a support, a massive support for me. Shockwave proteins, lymph, movement, protecting our brain, increasing our immunity are all supported by magnesium. Now, let's go into shockwave proteins, and I've made a list of what I think are the most important benefits to shockwave proteins and how to increase them. My action item that I think would be a great option for you make it work for you, would be for you to walk away from this live creating the way that you can incorporate shockwave proteins into your life. Let's talk about the benefits of shockwave proteins, and then we'll talk how to build shockwave proteins, and we'll talk about lymph and breathing. Let's do that right now. Here's how powerful we are, and I want you to remember this. And if you're having a bad morning or you had a rough morning starting, you've got this. I had a rough morning start this morning. It was so rough. And you know what I did? I took a big, deep breath. I did that a couple times. helped regulate my nervous system. It also moved my lymph. That's how powerful we are. When we have those rough mornings, taking moments to regulate will keep our lymph moving. In those rough moments, we can do this. And that does not keep our body healthy or supported. So that big deep breath about 3 times. Now, my morning wasn't just a little bit of a rough morning. It was a teary, kind of morning. I'm good. It was really rough. And so after I did those 3 big deep breaths, and I don't want to do this in the mic, so I'm going to go this way so it doesn't sound obnoxious. But I did 2 quick breaths in. Now, for some, that will be regulating. For others, depending upon where your adrenals are at, that can put you deeper into fight or flight. Healthy women filter information for what works for them. We have information overload. There is so much information everywhere. Determining through your filter what works for you as you, if it's a good fit, create that space that you know which things will help increase your shockwave proteins. And that second breathing one may not. It may make it worse. The only way to find out is to do it yourself and see how you feel afterwards. When I did that, absolutely calming, but not everyone will experience that. Both types of the breathing that I just showed you, just the big breath in, mouth closed, mouth open, push it out, doing that 3 times moved my lymph. When we move our lymph, we create a better foundation for shockwave proteins. Shockwave proteins protect your brain. Anything that protects our brain gets me really interested because my grandfather, my sweet, amazing gentleman of a grandfather, we lost him because of Alzheimer's. And protecting that brain with the absolute increase of type 3 diabetes, which is actually your brain's not able to uptake the sugars that it needs. The receptors have been burned out. We're having an increase of dementia at much earlier ages. Anything that protects my brain, I'm all over that. I want that tool in my toolbox. Moving the lymph protects our brain. Breathing moves our lymph. Breathing helps support a foundation that can better utilize those shock proteins as we're making them. Is that connection making sense to you? I would love to know. Let me hop up here to comments. I forgot to set that part up. Let me hop here to comments. I would love to know if that flow of lymph, breathing, magnesium, shockwave proteins, if you're starting to build that bridge of how connected those are. Let me know in the comments. I've never talked about this at this level of detail in a class before. A lot of times when I'm talking about, I've taught maybe 100, 200, 300 times, I can anticipate those questions that are coming. On this one, I can't. So help a girl out. Let me know, did that make sense to you? Did it provide clarity into how that works, how the breathing, the magnesium, the lymph, the shockwave proteins can all be increased together? Let's talk about the benefit of shockwave proteins. Shockwave proteins, when you increase those in your body, when you have magnesium in place, when your lymph is moving well, shockwave proteins have a better system to be supported in. Shockwave proteins change the shape of your proteins and it bends them. and folds them. And as that happens, it increases the benefits to your body. We talked earlier, shockwave proteins protect the brain. They increase cell communication. Let's say your cell is saying, hey, I need that glucose that's hanging outside of the cell into the cell. But maybe you've eaten a lot of plastic fats, fats that aren't so great. That's like wrapping the cell in saran wrap. And so the wall of the cell is what communicates. And if you've eaten a lot of not so great fats, your cell is then, think of it like being wrapped in saran wrap, and that communication slows down, creating insulin resistance, creating hormone problems, creating sleep problems. Shockwave proteins help to break that down. I know I'm not a perfect eater. I eat out. I do not eat perfectly. Now, is my omega-3 fatty acid profile in a completely different place than 20 years ago when I had my health crash? Absolutely it is. But I still don't eat perfectly. And I don't always eat good fats. If you do, awesome. I have not found that level of perfection that I can stay in a regulated state. Imperfect action creates optimal health. I think it's finding the percentage that works for you. Right now, I'm 80-20. 80% of the things coming in support and sustain my body, and I have a 20% variance that I can do, and that's a good fit. When I was super sick, I did not have that level of variance, but I've built that on my journey of creating health. And remember, the journey, there's backward steps, sideward steps, forward steps. It's just creating that constant movement with imperfect action. Shockwave proteins will help make the pathway easier. We support them through lymph and the magnesium cell saturation of 6.3 or above. The other thing that shockwave proteins do is they decrease pain in your body. Did you hear that? If you are someone like me that has arthritis that can flare every once in a while, shockwave proteins will help decrease that pain. They also repair damage. Think of our skin. It's constantly exposed to and being broken down, just being in the environment. Shockwave proteins do the work on the inside to help your skin to look better. Well, if it's helping your skin to look better, the first place it's going to is your organs. And so it's helping repair the damage on those organs. We talked about brain health. We talked about shockwave proteins improve immune system. There's so much happening in the world right now that is breaking down our immune, keeping it strong, and making sure we're doing everything we can to offset that stressor of new things in our environment that get us sick, for me is incredibly important and helps me to take my power back and not be so stressed when I see things about what's happening. The other thing that happens with shockwave proteins is it helps you stay in a regulated state. This morning, that rough morning and some tears hit for me, I was not regulated. Dysregulation, health doesn't happen no matter all the things that you've done. It walks you backwards. It takes you away. It negates all of the layers that you've added. If someone says to me, oh, I've tried everything and nothing works for me, my first thought is nervous system regulation. That nervous system being regulated allows your body to access all of those tools that you use. Diane and Martha, I had a little glitch at the beginning. I had forgotten to plug my mic in, but you can go back and watch this as a recording on, right now I'm streaming on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And so you can go back to those places and catch it from the beginning. There is a little glitch at the very beginning. My system wasn't set up correctly, and I had to do a quick fix to get that going. Martha, right? It's like game changing. So let's talk about what does increase our shockwave proteins. Exercise, movement increases our shockwave proteins. Sitting in the sauna blasts them through the roof. Last week, or the last live I did, we talked a lot about sauna. I saved my pennies, and I have one here in Utah now available to me. Sauna, utilizing a sauna is one of the most important things that you can do to increase your shockwave proteins. Cold plunging is another thing that increases shockwave proteins. Rebounding is another way to increase shockwave proteins. If you are a rebounder or you're interested in rebounding, I love tools that I can purchase and I pay for once and that benefit me at home. I'm not someone that likes to leave and go somewhere and then come back. It's a better fit for me to have it in my own space. Rebounding has always been one of my favorite things. Go check out Earth and Owl. She is amazing. Her videos, her tools, her process of education, and my rebounding is so much better than what it used to be because of her. Earth and Owl. In fact, is what I'll do is I'll ask Shelly to tag her in the comments below so that you can click right to her. She's amazing. And rebounding is one of those things that increases shockwave proteins. Cold plunging, walking. We've talked about the magnesium morning trifecta. Walking increases shockwave proteins. Soaking in magnesium improves the movement on your lymph, and that helps support shockwave proteins. It's not that we come in and look at one thing and just focus on that. I like to look, well, you can. Let me take that back. That was a little controlling. I like to look at what supports and benefits that one thing that I've just learned about. And maybe for you, it's the shockwave proteins. And you're like, oh my goodness. Well, let's look at what benefits those. And then I've had that approach for a long time. And then as what started happening is I realized, wait a minute, the same things keep coming up that are the most beneficial for all of these things. Rebounding, vibration plates. T-zone vibration plate has changed my lymph. I've had vibration plates before. I've paid for very expensive ones, and I've done the mid-grade ones, and I've done the cheap ones, and all of them were about the same quality because it's the rotation of the vibration and the type of plate that you're standing on. I believe it's called an HB50, HB90. Oh, Shelly will post that for us. Oh, there it is right there. She just put that link up. It has two different vibration plates, so you can determine which one is working for you. It has a blue plate and a red plate. And you can get, if you use the code MAG20, you can get 20% off of. And Shelly, could I ask you, is it the HB50 or 90 that I have? But using that link, using the code MAG20, will get 20% off. And that plate with the bands that it has on it, with the sticks that come with it, with the plates that change, and the quality of the vibration. That's the ultimate thing on a vibration plate, is what is that vibration looking at? And they can do really cheap ones, or they can do more expensive ones and put several in there at the correct, I'm not explaining that well, whether it's going this way or this way and how fast it's going. I have never used a T-zone vibration plate as good as that T-zone vibration. Family-owned company. Support is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. They also have an app that is free. You don't even have to have their vibration plate, and it will have education and workouts beginning, intermediate, and advanced. I cannot tell you how much I love this company. They've been around from the beginning of vibration plates and the benefits, and they just keep fine-tuning it. They're in it for the long run, not just, oh, vibration plates are popular, so we're going to buy a piece of junk one, put our branding on it, and sell it. That's what most people are doing. Not all, but most. T-zone vibration has my heart. Mag 20 will get you 20% off of any of the plates. I love that. Oh, Shelly, look what she just did. HE90. That's the one that I have. I absolutely love it. Mag 20 gets you 20% off. Even if you don't purchase one of those, go check out their app. T-zone vibration in the App Store. Ooh, I'm Apple. I know they have it for Apple. I'm not sure about Android. So I'll need to check that out so that I know that for sure next time. It's an amazing app that you can use. Okay. We talked, let's see. All the things that help increase. Oh, so here's why I went on that little squirrel. Back where I was. In that, I noticed over the last 20 years, wait a minute, rebounding always comes up as a support to almost anything I'm doing for my health. Vibration plates come up always for anything that are a support for anything for my health. Magnesium is the gateway of opening health. It's the first door you open, and it makes everything easier. Sauna. Spiritual Quest is I have more expensive ones. I went with the Spiritual Quest. It was about $2,000, and I'm loving the benefits. It met my requirements. I wanted the salt wall. I wanted the ionizer, and I wanted low EMF, no VOCs. The reason they can sell it at that cost is they don't do the big affiliate push, and they manufacture themselves instead of buying it from someone else and then putting their name on the machine. That's a completely different price point set. And when you're paying affiliates, some of them up to $3,000, you have to put that into the price of the product. And Spiritual Quest, they make them on site. They've been doing it for over 20 years, and they've got amazing saunas that met my requirements for the level of red light that I wanted. It even has chromography, the colors, and it has a great little Bluetooth speaker that I can put a book on and listen to, or music, while I do 30-minute brain dumps of journaling. I love it. But those things kept coming up, that it supported other things I was working on. And once I noticed that pattern, hold on, I need water. Once I noticed that, I realized, okay, I'm stopping the research for all the things, and I'm focused on building my own tool set to add these things. Adele, I love that you brought this up. If you were on the live a little bit earlier, I talked about even the breathing that I did for some people is not beneficial, especially when you do 2 quick breaths in and then blow it out forcefully. If your adrenals are shot and you have had through the roof stress, don't eat enough potassium, don't have your magnesium levels up, that can throw your just that simple breathing technique can throw your nervous system into deeper fight or flight. And cold plunging is the same. And that's where healthy women have strong filters. The same pattern that we looked at that breathing exercise is the same pattern that we need to look at cold plunging, sauna, vibration. I mean, everything I've talked about. You have to filter that to your body's needs. And I think that's where a lot of women can get overwhelmed because their sister, grandma, girlfriend, aunt, it was so beneficial, but it knocks them and isn't beneficial for them. And it's not that the tool is not beneficial, it's where is your body at right now? And have you done the supporting work to build a strong foundation? Maybe your adrenals need adaptogens. Maybe your magnesium levels are not where they need to be. Maybe your voltage is off. Anything that happens in my body, anything, sickness, pain, a headache, emotions, anything, the first thing I look at is voltage. Where is my voltage at? Magnesium, potassium, and salt. Dehydration. I have been on a couple of trips with like 24 hours in between to just get ready for the next trip. I could not get my hydration levels up. I was in St. George and California, and it was hot. I couldn't get my hydration. My salt was off. I needed to look at voltage to get my hydration back up. I needed more salt. And setting that foundation is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful things that we're needing to do to set ourselves up, that these tools that have so much scientific evidence behind them are beneficial, that they are beneficial for us. At Living the Good Life Naturally, we build a strong foundation to make sure we're doing all of these other things on top of that foundation instead of chasing this, chasing that, chasing this. That foundation starts with voltage, magnesium, salt, potassium, in my opinion. And I'm not a doctor. I am not diagnosing. I am not telling anybody what to do. I wish we were all sitting around having a lunch with healthy fats and great food and just talking back and forth about this. I always leave it at the listener's feet for them to make the best decision for them. It is none of my business to tell someone, do this. I'm sharing with you what I've learned and what I've seen on that big picture scope. And we have to filter. And when we're overwhelmed, when we're discouraged, when we're exhausted, we don't feel good, we start chasing symptoms. And you might be chasing symptoms if you've ever said, nothing works for me. If you have a cupboard full of supplements that you're not using, you don't remember why you bought them. Starting at the foundation, voltage, magnesium, salt, potassium. Activating stored vitamin D to active vitamin D. That's the foundation. All the women that I have had the privilege of being a part and seeing their journey goes so much faster and so much easier when that foundational role is set into place. Let's go right here. STS Carolyn coming in from Facebook. Welcome. How do I help my adrenals come back from fight or flight? This is one, Carolyn, for me that I put a lot of focus on. My body needs reminders to stay in that healing mode. I've got a lot of tools that I can share with you. I want to share a foundational tool. Adrenals run on salt and potassium. Salt and potassium. Magnesium is needed to keep them calm. Looking and knowing that our adrenals are tired, we go back to voltage. Magnesium, salt, potassium. the questions I ask myself: where is my magnesium red blood cell levels? I get those tested. My goal is 6.3 or above. What are my body's salt needs? And am I getting enough potassium in my food? Do I need to add a little boost? For example, I just set up a little fridge in the gym next to my office to keep things in that fridge that will support my body before I work out or sauna, vibrate, use the vibration plate, or rebound, and things that I can use after. And one of the things that I keep in there is salt and orange juice and cream of tartar, because if my potassium levels have not been optimal with food, I can drink a half a cup of orange juice, put some salt in, appropriate for my body, add a teaspoon of cream of tartar, and I've got about 900 to 1,000 milligrams of potassium. Now, if you are on certain medications, if you have heart issues, if you've got your kidneys aren't functioning, that could be horrendous for you. Always filter any information that you see online through your body and your body's needs. I have absolutely loved being with you today. We have come to the end of our 30 minutes. I would love to know, what was your takeaway piece of information today? That piece that you went, oh, I needed to connect to that. One of the things that you can do to change the patterns in your body, and that's where I feel like my gift lies, is helping people see the patterns that are walking them away from health. And we talk so much about food. We talk about tools in our toolkit. If we're not looking at the patterns that are showing up in our life, then we'll never achieve the full potential that we have in our bodies and our brains, which means you're not showing up at your full potential for the people that you love. Looking at those patterns, breaking patterns is so incredibly beneficial. One of the things that you can do to break the pattern, if it's a good fit for you, is find that little piece of information, leave it in the comment section, put it in the physical world. Now, extroverts, that might be really easy. Introverts, that might completely stress you out. You do what's best for you. You don't have to do that. It can be very beneficial because you have put it in the physical environment that this was your takeaway, and then you are more likely to take action on that takeaway. You and I hanging out, I've connected, and that connection helps me to be a healthier human. That connection helps to keep our nervous system regulated. That connection helps remind me there are others in the world that want optimal health like I do, to show up in the best way possible for the people that they love. Action needs to happen. We spent 30 minutes together taking action on something you learned. If you're learning and studying all of these things, but you're not taking action, you're increasing your body's ability to be overwhelmed and stay in that exact place that you're in. Oh, I love this. Salt, cream of tartar, potassium. Oh, I am so glad. I would love to know. I go live. Let me share my live schedule. And remember, ish if things happen. I almost didn't come live today because if I'm not sitting here with a regulated nervous system, I'm not putting out into the world what I want, and I didn't know if I could get there. And so it's ish. Sometimes it might not happen, and you just know I'll be here the next time. I go live on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Mondays and Wednesdays. That's the magnesium moment, where we're just weaving what we know through the foundation of magnesium. Right now, you were with me on a magnesium moment. Then, for those that are like, oh, I really like that magnesium moment and want to go a little bit deeper. I have a free magnesium masterclass. I don't want it out in public though for people to pick it apart because we go deeper about ourselves, our understanding, and that's called the Magnesium Masterclass. If you would like to be a part of that Magnesium Masterclass, it happens the first Monday of every month at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And Shelly is incredible, gets that link to you to watch the recording. You have that recording usually within 24 hours with bullet points. But that only goes out in the Good Life Journal, which is my email, my part of my email system that goes out to people who join. Shelly has a link up right now where you can subscribe to the Good Life Journal to get that email. The link only goes out once a month. If you are not opening any other of the emails, it won't go to your inbox. I can't determine that. That's how emails work now. They've really changed. So you have to take a little bit of action and open or respond to those emails so that the email algorithm knows this person wants to get these. I would love to have you join me on the Magnesium Masterclass. And I want to tell you about something that's coming up. And that is on Facebook. Think of standing in a room of 40,000 people. Okay, 40,000 people. That's how many people are following this video series. 40,000 people. That is mind-boggling to me. And I thought, 40,000 people, I want to celebrate all of those people. And so on Facebook, I'm not doing this on Instagram, I'm not doing this on YouTube until those places hit 40,000. On Facebook, that's where we hit 40,000. I am giving away 40 bottles of magnesium. Now, I want to do it in a way that doesn't create tagging other people. Anyway, I want to do it in a really respectful way for other people. And it's not something you have to follow. Anyway, I want to do it in a fun way. So Shelly and I are coming up with the best way to do that with a system that's very simple because Shelly's the one that follows through on getting those out. And so we're going to come up with a system because my part is here doing the live. Shelly's part will be getting all the orders prepped. Emily's part will be shipping that out to you. And before all of that, Megan's part is getting all those bottles filled, and her team's part is getting the labels on. So there's 9 women supporting you in that process of that bottle of magnesium showing up to you. Keep an eye out on Facebook. I'd love to have you join there. I've never given away 40 bottles of magnesium. And yes, the shipping is free. I will pay for the shipping also. And I would love to have you be a part of that. Or if you have any ideas, if you just have some ideas of ways that I could do that would lift everyone. I'm almost asking, how did magnesium benefit you? Or share your best self-care tip. I don't know. I want to do it in a way that we are creating something together that even the women who don't, quote, win the magnesium can scroll all of those comments and feel supported, a part of a community, and benefiting from other women's wisdom. That's always been my goal here at Living the Good Life Naturally, is creating a space where women can come together. And it's not that men don't benefit from magnesium. My focus is women, because I have found when a woman feels better, when she wakes up feeling good for the day, incredible creative things happen throughout her day that invariably lift other people. And my goal at Living the Good Life Naturally is to help create a better world for children with women who are present and are sharing their gifts with the world. Because when that happens, our entire community and environment is changed. And there's crazy things happening. We need more women standing up, claiming their gifts, owning their power, sharing their gifts with the world, and making it a better place for those around them. That's the end goal of Living the Good Life Naturally. And magnesium opens the door for that to happen. It doesn't solve everything, it doesn't fix everything, but it is the first gateway to that happening. And we focus on foundational pieces. Imperfect action creates optimal health. If you walk away with nothing from this live today, remember, I don't do it perfectly, and I'm not in a wheelchair. I'm not having seizures anymore, and I'm not having things brought in by tubes and taken out by tubes. And I've never done it perfectly, ever. Imperfect action creates optimal health. If yesterday was a rough day, or maybe you were like me and your morning was really rough, we can recover that. We can change that. Having the tools, knowing the tools that work for you. For example, the 2 breathing exercises that I did, I know that those work for me. Do you know what works for you? If you haven't played with that, I keep it in my Google Keep. I just have a file of tools that I can use when I'm stressed out. 1-minute tools, 5-minute tools, 15-minute tools, and I actually have it all created and structured so that when I'm stressed out, when I've got the tears coming, when I'm doing a little bit of, oh, I don't feel up to life right now, I can flip over to that Google Keep and go, oh, that's easy for me to do, and that's easy for me to do, and I know that those work. I would love to be a part of your journey in helping you to build that skill set of what will work for you. I've loved being here with you today. I'd love to see you in August on our next Magnesium Masterclass. Bye-bye. See ya.